Hey guys, the CDC came out with a report today on children and COVID-19 in America, and it is preliminary information, but I just wanted to highlight a few of the things that they're reporting. The first being that it is still true that children have a lower rate of infection due to COVID-19. They are showing fewer symptoms, they're having lower rates of hospitalization, and lower rates of severe illness. That said, the idea that children under the age of 18 are somehow immune to COVID-19 is also not true, and the data is showing that. Previously, public health officials were talking about those with the new coronavirus, that if you were under the age of 65, you would have very relatively minor symptoms. And multiple data points are now showing that that's not the case, and that's also not the case with children. Second thing you should know when it comes to symptoms, adults, when it comes to COVID-19, tend to have very similar symptoms. Fever, cough, shortness of breath. In fact, more than 90% of those between the ages of 18 and 65 are reporting those symptoms. In children, it's more like 70%. So it's just not quite as common. And I was speaking to a doctor friend of mine today, and she reminded me that in illnesses across age groups like the flu, children tend to exhibit symptoms a little differently than adults. So it's just something to keep in mind. Final thing to think about. The CDC is still recommending that children do not go on play dates, do not socialize outside their household. And a lot of this still has to do with asymptomatic spread. Yesterday evening, Dr. Fauci, in a task force briefing, said something interesting. Remember, the CDC told us last week that they believe about 25% of COVID-19 cases are asymptomatic. Dr. Fauci said he believes it's more like 50%. And he said he didn't have the science to back that up, but that's what his feeling was about how this virus is behaving. This is another reason why children are really in focus. Yes, they are showing milder symptoms, but there's still a question about how they're spreading the virus. So the CDC still wants us to keep children close to home, and those who want to visit children, the CDC is still saying we have to keep our distance from now. Questions, comments, let me know, and I'm going to bullet point the rest of this and put it on the website for you guys on smarternews.com.